Welcome back to OVC Football Media Days. John Gross, head coach at Jacksonville State, joins us. And, Coach, I understand you're one of the few in North Alabama that do not have a beard on after the COVID quarantine.
Going playing in February, I may need to grow one quickly. I may need to start not shaving so I can get a little warmth on my face for sure.
Well, you had a little fall schedule to work you through. Let's talk about that a little bit. Talk about your criteria for playing the allowed 4 games in the fall.
Well, I was glad our team elected to play. Was one of the few, FCS teams that did play, and I felt like it was good for our football team. So, them to want to play and us to navigate through the difficulties of playing, I thought was big for our program and big for this team. So, I think it was huge to play in the fall, and I was proud of our guys too. I thought they handled it really well. So we was really transparent with them and let them be a part of the decision making about to play or not to play. And I think even myself as a head coach, I didn't know the right answer to that. So we collectively gathered as much information as we could, and we made a team decision. And I think everybody had input on that.
Everybody's got a story through this, and I'm hoping we're on the tail end of this thing called COVID, but kind of share some of your thoughts about what it was like, even getting ready for that 4-game schedule in the fall, but still not quite feeling like it's really that full game, 10 or 11 game playoff schedule.
Yeah, it's just different. I mean, I know nobody's ever experienced anything like 2020 and trying to play football during it and just navigating through the off season with that. I don't think any of us the year before could have dreamed up something as bizarre as what we had to deal with. So it was just difficult doing that, and it hits you right as you start spring training and you lose all the time and just so much uncertainty. And I think not only just weekly, daily, even hourly, you're having to navigate through changes, and the adaptability of this team, I think, just grew, and it grew us as a team because you had to be able to adapt and overcome, because you never knew not what tomorrow held, but after lunch held. You may be changing a practice or a protocol or how you're doing things. So and guys to handle. Hey, I'm at my peak and I'm training really good, and then you lose, 10 to 14 days of being quarantined or isolated, and then being able to come back and pick up where the rest of the team's been progressing. I think that was very hard to deal with as a player and as a coach. So, just to be able to adapt to all those things, I think it strengthened our team for sure.
One of the things that's really going to help you sleep well at night and get through this is your quarterback situation. The big news was Zarek last week, Zion Webb behind him. Your quarterback's pretty solid coming into this new season, I should say.
Yes, and Zarek's still uncertain for spring. I don't know his status for spring yet, but definitely for fall. But it's just good, and I think spring's gonna help develop our whole football team. But definitely, just being able to play and get some games in is going to be a positive for them as players, and it's good to have 2 guys like that for sure.
Is Trey Berry the best tight end you've ever had?
I believe so. I mean, Trey is an impact player. I mean, he really is. You don't hear, you talk about the tight end position that way a lot, and he's definitely impacted our team, and is fun to watch play the game. So, and it's fun to see him grow as a player and watch him on the field and how he's growing off the field as well.
Selfishly, I have to admit, I heard next door the conversation going on, and there were 3 letters that were around him, and that was NFL. Do you think he has that type of talent?
I believe he does. I believe he'll be given an opportunity at that level. This year will determine a lot for him, because he could have come out this year. But I feel like, coming off injury, he didn't feel like he was 100% in the fall and wasn't. We're nowhere close to 100%. So, getting well and having a spring and a fall season, I think will help him next year and hopefully be a draftable guy. But I definitely think that he gets an opportunity that he'll stick on a roster.
And, we've touched on the quarterback. We've touched on the tight end situation. Offensive line, a little bit of graduation there, a little bit of changes there. What can we expect?
Well, those guys have been young up front, and, we got, everybody's back because it's COVID year. So we got O-line and D-line we feel good about. And that's where the year before we were so young and never been that young before, offensive, defensive line. So it's good to have all those guys back. And I feel like our offensive line really came together in the fall and just played really well. And that unit has to be, on the same page for your offense to be good. And I think they had a great fall, and just going to be a really an anchor for our football team in the spring.
I think defensively, correct me if I'm wrong, your back end, that secondary looks to be pretty solid as well with some experience.
I think so. Those guys have been back here playing for a while, and we lost some guys the year before, so that was a big time concern where we had all really our up front D-line back. We lost a lot of secondary guys the year before, so with the Marlon Bridges and those guys. So, to see that group really be a little bit young and come in and be play as well as they did in the fall, I think the carryover is going to be good for spring.
Got some softball, some fun questions now. We got the hard stuff out of the way. So, Troymaine Pope, just mentioning his name and seeing him playing in the league in the playoffs has to bring a smile to your face.
There's no doubt. I mean, so proud of him. The growth he had while he was here was, one of my most enjoyable growth of a player that I've ever had. He just got so much better every year, and then to watch him just battle through and overcome, just the doubts of him playing in the NFL. Just get on a team and get on a roster and stay and consistently do it. Not just a 1 year, but a 2 year. He's just doing really well. So it's just great to see him on the field playing, and I think he's just versatile. One of the things we talked him into playing, we try to tell all players playing the next level, you got to be able to play special teams. Well, he just bought into that and started playing. I remember the day he started playing gunner. Yeah, he had no idea on punt team what to do at gunner, and then he became one of the best gunners in the country. So, and that's what's kept him on rosters. I mean, he's a good running back, but he can play on any special team, and I think that really, really helps him. And I think we see him in the off season. He gets back here and works out, and we'll see him around, and he's just even off the field. You just watch him. He's got a couple little ones. Just watch him be a dad and spend time with them, and he's just got a good heart, good person.
It's not a really, really big state, but Alabama's been a very fertile recruiting ground for you. And given there's a national champion not far down the road from you, talk about when I look at this roster and I see Alabamians top to bottom, how are you getting that done? Is that J.R. Sandlin or where does that?
Well, he's definitely part of it. I think our staff, really does a good job. One of our, ever since I came here, one of our point of emphasis was the state of Alabama. I know there's good football here. These guys are developed and well coached, and there's good players. So we want to win our state. So we spend a lot of time first in recruiting in our schools and relationships with high school guys, and when we're going to recruit locally. Now sometimes locally, everybody thinks we ought to take every player. But it's in the state of Alabama. We're going to try and get everybody we can get and not lose those guys, because I think every program in the country has figured out hey, it's pretty good football played in Alabama at high school level, and there's players here, so everybody comes in and recruits. So it's one of those things where you got to battle to keep guys in your state, and you got to make it a priority. So we've made it a priority, and we want to get those guys in.
I think between your athletic director and JR, they've got the social media aspect of that covered for you, Coach. I think you're going to be
no doubt. They do a good job with our branding for sure.
Yeah, that is. Coach, appreciate your time today. Best of luck to you. Good to see you again. Odd to be talking to you in January, but that's just where we are, and football's right around the corner. So thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Get your gloves and earmuffs ready, okay?
We'll be ready for it.
All right, see you now. Thanks.
Alrighty.